If you're not using ManyChat automations, you are literally rinsing fans down the drain. If you're not using AI productivity tools like Yesterday, an angel is gonna lose its wings. Did you know that if you don't add everyone who comments on your post to your close friends on Instagram and then message them every single day, Coachella is gonna get canceled next year? Feeling overwhelmed yet? Here's the truth. You don't need 12 super fancy tools in order to market your music. You just need one that works well. And the good news is, most artists already have it. They just don't use it. Let's talk. What's up? Hello, welcome to Scratch Track. This is the podcast for busy musicians who want more fans and less burnout. Hi, I'm Chris Robley from Demo, where we help grown-up artists build their audience without chasing trends, going broke, and burning out. And most importantly for this episode, without having to learn 15 new apps every month. So quick admission about my first 4 episodes. 3 of them were a bit of a bummer, which maybe wasn't the best way to launch a new podcast, but with all the sort of hate towards Spotify recently, I really thought it was a topic that needed addressing. And so I went there. And of course, even when I'm addressing depressing topics, the point for me is always to try to help you make better decisions for your music. But with all that Spotify stuff out of the way, let's move on to more positive, motivating topics. Like, for instance, how you are already sitting on the most powerful music marketing tool ever created. What is it? Trivia time. It's the cockroach of music marketing. It survived every trend, outlived every hype cycle, and it's still crushing it. It's older than your teenager in driver's ed, older than MTV, older than MIDI. So old, in fact, that its AARP card is in the mail. And it still gets better results than your last 5 boosted posts combined. It's invisible. Never seen on stage, never heard in your tracks. It doesn't sparkle, it doesn't dance, doesn't trend, doesn't get likes. But it will get you paid. It's simpler than TikTok. Way more punctual than your bandmates, and works for you even when you're folding laundry. It doesn't need a ring light, doesn't care about your hair, doesn't require choreography or Canva. It costs less than a babysitter, performs better than your meta ads. It doesn't give a damn about algorithms. You've probably used it today, just not for your music. It's the one tool that has helped artists stay in touch with their fan base through every major shift this century. From CD to download, download to streaming, streaming to social, and whatever's next. Can you guess what it is? Well, you probably already have. But before we name it, let me just talk about why I think we need to be reminded that a tool like this even exists. The problem for artists is that Overwhelm masquerades as opportunity. You know, we've been told throughout the years, you gotta be on Facebook, you gotta be on Twitter, you gotta be on Instagram, you gotta be on Spotify, all these playlists, you gotta be on TikTok, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta be everywhere. You're losing fans if you don't automate your DMs with a chatbot. If you're not feeding the algorithm 24/7, you don't exist. The result is that you either try everything, which leads to burnout, you do nothing at all, which leads to guilt, or you do everything halfway, which is just chaos and wasted time and guilt. So now you've downloaded 10 new apps, you've subscribed to 4 new services, you've switched up the type of content you're creating like a dozen times in the last 2 months, and don't have much to show for it. Despite all the shiny new objects that present themselves to us as musicians, new platforms, new apps, new solutions, marketing overwhelm isn't a tech problem, it's a focus problem. And what are the dangers of too much tech when it comes to music marketing? Well, let me make a Star Wars metaphor, and my apologies to anyone who hates Star Wars. But, what happens to all the Jedis who have fancy lightsabers? Darth Maul with his double-sided blade? Dead. General Grievous with his 4 fancy swinging lightsabers? Toast. Count Dooku with his weird curved hilt lightsaber? Also dead. Kylo Ren with his crossguard saber? Well, to be fair to him, he actually sacrificed himself, but a lot of good his fancy lightsaber did him. Who survives, or at least stays on screen for a whole lot more time than all those other people I just mentioned? The boring Jedis. Luke, Anakin, Yoda, Obi-Wan. The one with one simple, boring blade. So clearly Star Wars proves the point. More tech and fancier tech doesn't equal more power. Skill with a simple tool that you use consistently beats a flashy gimmick or 12 flashy gimmicks every time. So in your music marketing, be a little bit more like Luke Skywalker and less like General Grievous with his weird gadget fetish. Here is the forgotten, boring, simple weapon that you have. One that is at least 4 times more effective than social at converting attention into sales and into action. Email. Yeah, email. Most musicians already have it, and they ignore it. Why? It feels old, feels outdated, it feels corporate, it's not public, it doesn't go viral. But email is owned, targeted, and direct. By owned, I mean that when you have the contact information for your fan, you co-own that relationship with them. Versus social, where that relationship and the terms by which you maintain that relationship are rented. Email is targeted, meaning you can write to people with a pretty good degree of certainty of what category they fit into. I want to hit the people in California. I want to hit the people who've bought my merch before. You can target those people very easily and accordingly versus social, which is a wide broadcast and a wide net. And email, of course, is direct versus social, where you reaching them and connecting with them is based on some algorithmic luck. So I said email is at least 4 times more effective than social. Is that really true? Here's the proof. Shopify did a study in 2025 that actually shows email can be 7 times better at converting than social. Converting meaning leading to the outcome you want. Purchases, ticket sales, even getting people over to Spotify to stream. So email is better for engagement outcomes. Why is email so effective? Well, 4.5 billion people on the planet use email, and 88% of those people check their email multiple times a day. 52% of email users have actually made a purchase from an email newsletter. And that means that email is the tool that marketers are the least likely to give up. And they've been asked, would you rather give up email or give up all your social activity? And almost every single marketer says, I'd get rid of social. I'd keep my email. Because for every $1 they're spending on email, they get an average return of $36. There's also sort of competing stats out there that try to get at the average open rate of an email across industries, and it's somewhere around 30%. But the good news is that for musicians, it's actually quite a bit higher. It tends to be from 30 to 50%. And if it's for a really important event, maybe a new album launch, new video, a new tour announcement, something like that, that open rate can actually tend way higher than 50%, which if you know anything about marketing is really incredible. Some of the other, powerful features of email, you can segment your list. And when you do, according to some studies, you get up to a 700% boost in revenue. And if you don't know, segmentation is just when you take your overall email list and you kind of chop it up into subgroups. It could be based on geography. It could be people who've already purchased your merch. It could be people who most frequently respond to you. It could be the people who are least engaged with your list, so that if they stay that way, you can get them off your list. So as you can see from all this marketing data, email is like the boring old Toyota Corolla. It never breaks down, it doesn't need much upkeep, and it keeps going year after year. Meanwhile, your TikTok and your Instagram reels are like a moped with no brakes. So if email is such a powerful tool, why do artists avoid using it? Well, it feels old. It's outdated. It's not as shiny an object as Instagram reels. There isn't the same chance of going viral and getting massive reach. It's way more direct and personal and sort of intimate. And because we are inundated with marketing emails, we fear that we will seem corporate and spammy and salesy. Another reluctance is sometimes artists are like, I just don't know what to write. I don't have anything, obvious and big going on in my music career at this moment, so I'm just going to wait till then. I'll wait till later. And then 6 months pass and it's like, wow, half a year's gone by since I've written my list. I should probably do it now, but will they even open? Will they remember who I am? And in a future episode, I'm going to give you a bunch of compelling email content ideas that you can send your list, keep them engaged between all of those more obvious big events in your career. A similar reluctance is, well, I only had one interesting thing happen. I'm going to wait until a few more pile up and then I'll send a newsletter. That's a mistake, because you should really try to get in the habit of sending more frequently isolated focus messages that ask the artist to pay attention to one thing and do one thing. And lastly, sometimes we're just like, there's only like 12 people on my list, or there's only 1,000 people on my list. Some number that feels small and insignificant. So what's the point in even talking to those people? Well, a few points. First of all, they don't know that there's only 12 people or 1,000 people on the list. You talk to them like an individual. Second, you're going to be forming a habit. Even if you only have 12 people on your list, get in that weekly habit of writing them. You may have a chance to drive some revenue, first of all, but you'll also be creating a connection. Those people might help spread awareness for your music and for your email list, word of mouth. And as you do that over and over and over again, you're going to be getting better at this email communication. And as you get better and better at this weekly email habit, anyone new who joins your list, they're going to have an incredible experience the minute they join. So to help you kind of maybe normalize the fear a little bit and then push it aside, think of some of your favorite brands. Like for me, Universal Audio is one. I get, 6, 7, 8 emails from them a week. Do I open all of them? No. But when I need them, they're always in my inbox. I'm never offended that they're in my inbox. And when I'm ready to investigate some new plugin, or when I'm ready to buy or renew my subscription and look for deals, there they are. They're not like the friend who disappears for 2 years and then comes back around and then asks for a favor. They've maintained the relationship consistently, showing up every day or every week. Now that's a brand. What about an artist? Billie Eilish. I signed up for her email list like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not fooling myself that Billie herself is sending me emails. Like, I know she's got a huge team. But again, I want to know about her new videos, her new tours, her new releases. Like, it's not an imposition. I raised my hand and I said, I'm a fan. Tell me what a fan needs to know. If she's not scared, or whoever manages her list isn't scared to write her fans, why should you be afraid to write yours? You are sitting on a tool that can slice through all of your music marketing overwhelm. And if you are a busy, grown-up, maybe mid-career musician who has already collected a bunch of emails throughout your life, then email, plain old email, might be where you should spend most of your time and effort and focus. And yes, creativity and storytelling. Call it the Luke Skywalker or the Obi-Wan strategy, or if you hate Star Wars, pick an adventure story where someone uses a simple weapon and master your marketing through simplicity. All right, time to answer the trivia question. Which ancient communication tool still gets at least 4 times better conversion rates than social media? It's the Racing Homer's carrier pigeon. No, it's email. Of course, it's email. We've been talking about it for 15 minutes. An elegant weapon for a more civilized age. You don't need 20 tools. You just need one that works. And now you know you have one. And I hope this has motivated you and maybe showed you some of the possibilities, the reasons why you should be using email. I hope it's got you excited about dusting off your list, putting it to use, getting in touch with your fans, whether it's just one person, 15 people, 1,000 people, however many people have given you the privilege of their contact info. Say what's up. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what they should do. Tell them why they should care. Give them stuff. Remind them why they fell in love with your music to begin with. And although this episode really was just about trying to get you fired up to use email, I have some future episodes planned. They'll be here shortly that'll help you with what to write, how to write it, and how to make this a regular habit for your music marketing that doesn't take up a bunch of time, but leads to real results. This episode is obviously about simplicity, and that's kind of an ethos I'm trying to bring to almost every aspect of music marketing and managing a music career. So if you want help kind of streamlining your music marketing and getting more serious results from simpler moves, that's what we do at Demo. I'm building courses. We're going to offer coaching, consulting, campaign management. Check us out at musicdemo.org. And if you've liked these episodes, if you like this one, please do the things. Subscribe, like it, leave a comment, leave a review on the podcast app that you use. Say hi, give me ideas for future episodes. And most importantly, put away 11 of the fancy tech tools this week and focus on the old one that matters most.